adoption focused therapy. It's been really good. Still going on for now. But what was a huge takeaway from that? Well, do you know what? What is it like to be an adoptee? If you're like me, you're lucky enough that you're adopted by an incredible family who have been supportive and loving throughout your whole life. Amazing. That does not erase the fact that at some point in my life, I lost the most important person to me at that time. At 1 week old, I was taken from my mother and given to foster carers. And then at 6 weeks old, I was given to my adoptive family. Cognitively and consciously, I have no memory of myself before that incident happened. I have no point of reference of who I am before that happened. What then happened was that as I grew up and I got to about the age of 4 and 5, I started to ask questions, and I was always told the truth, that I was adopted and that I was special and I was chosen. And I loved that, and it was great. But then human brains, being the way they are, mine decided to go off using its imagination down a different track. And that was, these parents could give you away too. What if you go to bed and when you wake up, they're gone? What if the reason you were given up by your original parents is because you are flawed? You're broken, you're defective, there's something wrong with you, you're not quite right. And because I had those thoughts, I then couldn't work out, well, what could that be? What is wrong with me? So I chose from a very young age to be a very good girl. I had to keep everybody happy. I had to be a good girl. I had to do what I was told, because at any point my parents could go. So the thing that we've been able to do in therapy is I've been able not only to voice those feelings without trying to rationalize them as an adult or look at them with an adult's perspective. I've been able to be that girl who has been scared, who has been uncertain, who has been frightened that she could lose her new parents. I've been able to speak my thoughts as a child without any fear of hurting anybody, without any fear of judgment, without any fear of losing somebody. And that has been amazing. I think as a society we need to do better around adoption. I mean, obviously I can only speak from my experience, but there is an awful lot of grief involved around adoption. There is the possible grief of the adoptive parents who have to accept that they may not have their own children and have to adopt. There is obviously the grief and the loss of the birth parents giving away a child. And then there is the grief and the loss of the child itself. I may not have been old enough, developed enough to understand what was happening to me, but my body remembers it. And it's only been as I've got older, much older, that I have been triggered in far deeper ways, very physical ways. So it's a physical memory that's been triggered. It's a physical fear. I can't find a thought because there wasn't necessarily any sort of memory of a thought when it happened. But there was a physical need for somebody who was no longer there. And so far, adoption therapy has really helped me it has held a safe space for me to talk openly. It has provided me with somebody who but who, when I'm getting upset, doesn't say it's okay, I'm here, you're okay. They do reassure me, but I'm allowed to cry. I'm encouraged, cry it out, let it out. Don't keep holding it in. That's what you've done all your life, is you've suppressed how you think and feel for fear of rejection. You are allowed to feel the loss of your mum, and I can feel it coming again. And so obviously when I lost my adoptive mum earlier this year, I already knew the grief, the loss of a mother. I just didn't realise it. So that's what I wanted to share today, and that is that, adoptees need to be able to speak openly about their experiences. Some have good ones, like myself, and some have awful ones. But adoption is not all unicorns and rainbows. There are real people with real emotions involved that shouldn't be dismissed.